Hey guys, so in this video I am going to demonstrate how to configure route-based IPsec VPN in Juniper SRX firewall. So as you can see here in the topology, I have a company that have two sites. One is the headquarter and another one is the branch. So in those sites I have private hosts that sits behind the firewall, and I want these two hosts to talk to each other over the public network, and we are going to secure that traffic with IPsec. So let's go over to the HQ file to begin with, and I'm going to issue the show configuration pipe display set. Let's see what's currently in the file. As you can see, there is nothing much in here. I just assigned the IP address to the interface, as you can see on the topology, and that's all it said at the time. And in the ISP router, show IP interface brief, because I'm using a Cisco router. It's just a basic IP address assignment, and this one does nothing but just route between these two sites, the public network between these two sites. And on the branch firewall, excuse me, okay, if I say show configuration pipe display set, okay, so here as you can see I just assigned IP address, basic IP address assignment to the interface, and I have a default route that is pointing to the ISP, which is what I am going to do on the HQ SRX firewall. So the first thing that we're going to do on the HQ SRX is to put a default route that is pointing all the traffic to go to the ISP. So let's go into configuration mode. Say set routing options, static route, and I'm going to give it a next hop of it's 20.1.1.1. okay, let's do a show pipe and compare. That's fine. Let's save the config. Okay, so the very next thing that I am going to do is to create security zones, because at this moment if I say run ping 20.1.1.1, you see traffic, there is no traffic, because by default if you don't have zones, the SRX is not going to pass any traffic. It's a default behavior for all the firewalls. So what I'm going to do is say set security zones. I'm going to create a security zone. Okay, this is going to be security zone. I'm going to create the HQ. I'm calling this zone the HQ trust. Okay, and I'm going to attach an interface to this zone. It's the gigi001.0 host inbound traffic system services. At the moment, let's just allow ICMP on this interface. So again, I'm going to set security zones. Security zone, I'm going to say this could be HQ untrust. I'm going to attach an interface, the interface that is facing the public network, host inbound traffic system services. I'm going to allow ping here, and let's allow traceroute. And since this is the interface we will be using for IPsec traffic, I am going to allow internet key exchange as well. So let's show pipe and compare. Alright, this will look fine. Let's do commit check. Let's do commit. Now that if I say show security zones, you can see, extend this a little bit, you can see I have the trust zone, which has the interface gig01, and I have allowed ping, and I have the security zone untrust that has touch and interface gig00, and these are the services that I have allowed on the interface. So at this point, I should be able to ping the interface on the ISP. Say one ping 20.1.1.1, and there we have it. Now that the zone setup on the HQ SRX is done, let's go over to the branch side and do the same. Let's say edit, show security zones. See, there is nothing. Set security zones. Security zone, I'm going to say this is the branch, trust, interface gig001 unit 0, host inbound traffic system services, it's allow ping, and just set security zones. Security zone, we are untrust, give it the interface gig000 unit 0, host inbound traffic system services. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do ping, give it the trace root, and IKE as well. So show pipe and compare. Created the untrust and the trust. Alright, let's do commit. Now, can I reach the HQ firewall from the branch? Let's try 200.20.200.202. Oh yeah. So now I have public reachability between the two sites. Let's now protect the traffic that will be going over the tunnel. So let's go over to the HQ side, and the first thing that I am going to do now is to create a secure interface tunnel that I'll be using for the IPsec. Let's say set interfaces st0 unit 0. I'm going to say family inet. Okay. Second, I am going to create a VPN zone that I'll be using. I'll be dropping all the VPN routes on that zone. So let's say set security zones. Security zone. I'm going to call this VPN zone, and I'm going to attach the interface st0 unit 0 that I created, and I'm going to say host inbound system services. It doesn't matter here, so I can just put IKE. Let's do show pipe and compare. Alright, let's commit. Now we are going to start our VPN setup. The very first thing you're going to do is to let's start off by defining our phase 1 parameters. So I am going into edit, security, IKE, proposal. I'm going to give this proposal a name. Let's call this the branch. Because I'm on HQ side, I'm going to call it the branch phase 1 proposals. I'm going to say enter. Now that I am in the proposal edit mode stanza, let's set and let's see what's our option here. You can see some of the things that you are familiar with. There is the authentication algorithm, the authentication method. You can put a description on your proposal. There is a Diffie-Hellman group. There is encryption algorithm, and actually the lifetime. Now let's set the authentication method, and here I am going to use the pre-shared keys, because you can actually use RSA or DSA, you name it. So we normally use pre-shared keys, and I'm going to set the Diffie-Hellman group. There are so many groups, but let's just use group 2. Let's set the encryption algorithm. For this setup, I am going to use AES-256. So I'm going to paste it here, and let's set the lifetime. I can say let's put it to the maximum. Okay, let's go back to the top, and I'm going to say show compare. See now, on the phase 1 proposal, I have set up the authentication method, the Diffie-Hellman group, the encryption algorithm, and the lifetime. Now let's go back to the edit, security, it's IK policy, and I'm going to give this name a policy. I can call it the branch IK policy. Yeah, that's fine. Let's give it the IK policy, and I'm going to say enter. And let's see how much we can actually set here. So now here I can set the mode of this tunnel. So set mode, it's going to be aggressive or main. So the main mode is always used when the two sides have static IP address assigned on the public network, and the aggressive is used when one of the sides has a DHCP address, meaning the address is changing every now and then. So here our mode is going to be main, and I am going to set the pre-shared key for this VPN, and it's going to be the ASCII, and let's say just this is Juniper. And the last thing, I am going to set the proposals, and I'm going to reference my proposal that I created earlier. So it's gonna be, it's a good thing you can tab it. Let's say top, show pipe, and compare. So now, one thing on the phase one parameter is the IK gateway. So let's say edit, security IK gateway. I'm going to give it a name. Let's just say branch gateway. Okay, I'm going to set. There are a bunch of things that you see here, but the one that we are looking for is we are going to set the external interface. The external interface is the exiting interface as your traffic is going out to the remote site. So here it's going to be gig 00. So I'm going to say set external interface, and you can see it's here. So I'm going to paste it here. Now I'm going to set the address. Now this is going to be the address of the public facing of the other side, meaning I am going to give this address, this value, the address of the interface on the branch firewall, which is going to be 30.1.1.2. if that's correct. Let's prove it. Run show interfaces tools. Oh yeah, so it's going to be gig 1, gig 0 is 0. There it is. So it's going to be this one. And the last thing I'm going to reference my IC policy that I created before this one. So I'm going to say set IC policy, and it's going to be the branch IC policy. At the top, let's show pipe and compare. Now, as you can see, this is my phase 1 config. So since we have done a lot of typing, let's do commit check, see if we are syntactically correct, and we sure do. So let's do commit and quit. Alright, so let's create now the phase 2 parameter of our IPsec. We are going back to the edit security, and now it's not IC, it's going to be IPsec because it's the phase 2. Let's create our IPsec proposal set. I'm going to give it a name. Let's call it the branch phase. Let's call it phase 2 proposals. Proposal. I'm going to say enter, and here there is a bunch of things that we are going to set. Not much, but first thing is going to be the protocol. Which protocol we are going to use. Excuse me. So there is the authentication header and the encapsulation security payload. So we are going to use the ESP, and then I'm going to set my authentication algorithm. Let's see what we have. Let's just use simple. I'm going to use the HMAC SHA-196. Let's set the encryption algorithm for phase 2, which I'm going to keep it the same as the one that I used in phase 1, and I'm going to set the lifetime in seconds. Let's keep it the same as the one that we created in phase 1. So now let's go back to the top and see how much. Show pipe and compare. So you see the phase 2 proposal has, we have protocol ESP, and we have created okay, so that's fine. Let's now create the IPsec policy. If I go to edit security IPsec policy, I'm going to give it the name. Let's say it's a branch IPsec policy, and here I'm going to set. Actually, here is where you can actually set your that is perfect forward secrecy. you can attach your proposals. If you don't have a proposal, you can actually set a proposal set which will assign different parameters. So here I'm going to just assign the proposals, and the proposal is the phase 2 proposal that we have created just earlier. Say top, and then I'm going to edit security. Now I'm going to create the VPN. Edit security VPN. Edit security. Excuse me, it's IPsec VPN. And I'm going to give it a name. Let's say it is the branch VPN. Okay, so now let's see what are the things that we are going to set inside here. The first thing, I am going to bind the interface, and the interface that I'm going to bind here, it is the secure tunnel interface that we created, which is EST0 unit 0. And then I'm going to set the IKE gateway. I'm going to bind the IKE gateway. As you can see, it's the branch gateway. And I'm going to set the IKE IPsec policy. I'm going to bind the IPsec policy that I created. And now I'm going to create the interesting traffic that I'm going to protect over this tunnel. So I'm going to set it with something called the traffic selectors. So set traffic selector. We can just say TS1, give it a name, and I'm going to say the local IP. That's my local private IP will be my 10.10.10.0/24, and I'm going to set the remote subnet, which is 10.20.20.0/24, and I'm gonna set established tunnels. Now this one, you can actually set established tunnels. You can say immediately or on traffic. So immediately, when you set this, it will just establish the tunnel immediately, and this one, it will be on demand. When it will establish only when there is it triggers the interesting traffic over the tunnel. So let's just use immediately, and let's say I'm going back to the top, and let's say show pipe and compare. Alright, so now my phase 2 is ready. Let's see, commit check. Voila, let's do commit and quit. Show security IKE security association. As you can see, it is trying to negotiate phase 1, but we haven't configured the other side, so that's why you see it's initiate and responder cookie 00, and the mode is main, and the state of the tunnel is down, and the remote peer, as you can see, the remote peer. I'm going to say show security IPsec security association. We have nothing on phase 2. So let's do show configuration and say pipe display set. So on the branch side, I am going to put a mirrored config of what we have done on the HQ side. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to copy the configuration that we have done on the HQ side, and because it's going to be the mirror configuration of what we have done here, so we don't have to go and type in everything from scratch like we have done here. So what I'll do, say display set, say much br. Let's see how much you can get, and this one is the config that I will copy, and I'm going to apply it on the, or I'm gonna apply it on the branch side. So I'll pause the video and put it on a notepad, edit it, and pause the video. Then I'll come back when it's ready. Alright, so this over here is going to be the config that we are going to apply on the branch side. As you can see, we will create the tunnel interface, and I'm going to bind it to a new zone that I will call it the VPN zone, and I will create my phase 1, as you can see it there, my phase 1 parameter, and I'm going to create the phase 2 as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put it aside, bring back my console, and let's go over to the branch. So I'll just say copy, paste it, okay, and I'm going to say copy, and I'll paste the config over here. Oh, something is missing. What is that? It is this line, the lifetime. So I'm gonna reapply that just to show pipeline compare. Okay, that's fine. It's applied. Okay, that's my IPsec policy. Let's do show and compare. Okay, I am going to apply the IPsec gateway over here, and let's apply the phase 2 proposal. I'm gonna assign phase 2 policy. I'll copy. I'm going to paste it, and that's it. So let's do commit check. Yeah, you're good. Now let's do commit and quit. Now at this point, if our config is correct, the tunnel should be up. Let's go over to HQ and say show security IPsec security association. See the phase 1. As you can see, the tunnel is up. Let's do show security IPsec security association, and I have my phase 2 as well. So show security IPsec security association, it's up. Show security IPsec security association. Yeah, that's up. Now, the last thing is we are going to apply the security policies so that we can move traffic through the tunnel, because without the security policies, that is the thing that's moving traffic between zones. So let's go over to the branch side. Okay, that's the HQ. Let's go and do edit. I'm gonna say set. The very first thing here, let's Let's create the address book. So set security address book. I'm going to give it a name. Let's make it a global address. Global address. I'm going to say the branch subnet. It's going to be 10.10.10.0/24. And I'm going to say set security address book global address, say HQ subnets, say okay, I have done a mistake here. This is actually, let's say, it's a good way to learn, by the way. Let's say rename security address book global address branch subnet to, it's gonna be the address this is going to be the HQ subnet, so that if I say show pipe and compare, we actually created the HQ subnet as 10.10.10, which is fine. Now set security address book global address. It's going to be 10. That is going to be the branch subnet 10.20.20.0/24. I'm going to show. And now that we have the address book, let's create a security policy. Set security policy global policy. You can say from branch to HQ. Match source address. If I'm moving traffic from the branch to the HQ, now the source address should be the branch subnet, and the destination address is going to be the HQ subnet, and the application that I'm going to allow, for now, let's just say Juno's ICMP ping. Now let's match from zone. It's going to be VPN zone, and match, and it's going to HQ trust. Match to zone. What is the zone? It is going to HQ trust. Just to show pipe and compare. There is a missing statement because I need to specify the action, then permit, which looks good now. Now let's create another policy that will move traffic from the HQ to the branch side. I'm going to say set security address book. That's going to be the policy. Set security policy global policy from HQ to branch. Let's just call that match source address. It's going to be the HQ subnet. Destination address is going to be the branch subnet. Application, let's say Junos ICMP ping. Match from zone, it's going to be HQ trust, and it's going all the way to VPN zone, and I need to specify the action, which is commit. Now that we have our policies in place, let's do commit check, which is good. Let's do commit and quit. Now let's do show configuration, security policies, type display set. I am going to put a mirror of this config to the branch side so that these two can communicate. So again, I am going to copy this and I will edit in the background, and I'll come back when. Okay, so this is the piece of config that I'm going to apply to the branch side, and our setup should be done. So let's go back to the branch, say edit. So I am going to create my address book, and then I'm going to create my outbound security policy, and I'm going to create my inbound security policy as well. Now let's do show, type and compare. Let's do commit check. It's fine. Let's do commit. Now, at this point, our setup should be just fine. Now let's go to HQ and let's fire up that virtual PC. I'm going to give it an address of 10.10.10.10 with a 24-bit mask, and of course the gateway should be .1. Alright, and the branch PC should be IP 10.20.20.20/24. Oh, excuse me, 10.20.20.20/24 with 10.20.20.1. Now let's try to ping from the HQ PC to the branch PC 10.20.20, and you can see we have the communication, and we can actually prove it that this one is the traffic that is actually getting encrypted. So let's do a packet capture on the ISP interface. Move this aside, and let's now see. I am going to run that ping again, and you can see you only see the public faces talking to each other, and the protocol is ESP. And if you let's run a continuous ping, and let's go over to the branch SRX. If I say run show security flow session, you will see it is a policy from HQ to branch that's getting hit, and this is the session. You see it's coming in via the tunnel interface, and it's getting out of gig 011. Okay, so I'm going to stop the ping, and I will close my packet capture, and that's how we configure IPsec site-to-site VPN in the SRX firewall. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye guys.